Boban. Let's see. Gotta fix YouTube. No, Vartanank submitted 2 games. Just a second, I have to mute. And the second one was 107 moves, so I'm not looking at the second game. So only 11. If it was like 30 moves, I would have looked at it, but not 107. Yes. Games can be submitted from Central American prisons. As long as you're a sub. It's Pat. Thanks for subscribing. Should be on Chess TV in 7 or 8 minutes. Then we can start. Sit Bear, who as per usual submitted the first game, doxed himself by, instead of putting Sit Bear, putting his actual name. He's done that before, but it's been a while. ACL Smith, go CL Smith. Sit Bear's no hit bear. He had a dog named Bear. Wow. You should get a bear named Dog. Is the stream over yet? Ugh. I mean, yay, another stream. Boah. Bonarici was a mafia boss, but he's retired. Hello, Derpy Moose 99. Hey, Felix Frias 80. Hello. Can you make a tournament? What am I, Dutch? I guess French is the right joke. Central North Carolina. I'll be there soon. Well, I guess Charlotte's more in the south than the center. Tournament starts Friday. Suburb of Raleigh. He's probably in Cary. Oh, snap. You can see Russia from your backyard? Western Horseman magazine. It's a good issue on saddles. Sounds like a Marge Simpson joke. Finally. I only have 2 drinks today, one for each of you. One is protein shake, one is water. Dasani water. I bought a 32 pack today at Kroger. Publix was closed because it's Easter. Kroger doesn't close for Easter. Hooray. Have you ever been to Kentucky? Who hasn't? Normally, when I'm in Kentucky, I'm driving through it, but I worked there with Gregory Kaidanov in his home before you were born. Oh, pizza sounds good. What should you do? It's hopeless. There's nothing to do. Doomed. Doomed. You playing a tournament in Charlotte? Yes, next weekend. It's the Alto tournament, which stands for at least 21 years old. So everybody in the tournament is 21 and over. Clothing optional. Dragon, your dissection of my joke is not funny. Also, I'm not vegetarian. And I haven't been for many years. I just bring my ego to tournaments. I never bring my id. Hi, Chess TV. I'm Ben. Tired today, but tired every day. So it's like the song from Blazing Saddles. I'm so tired of being admired. We have Sub Sunday today, 420 special. So if you're watching the stream, you're required to sub and give subs. Otherwise, you're banned, and your children's children are banned for 3 months. Hi, Dom Biblos. Another mafioso. Felix Frias gifted a sub. He understands the rules. Thank you, Felix. You're the only one who understands the rules. Okay, we'll start because it's 8. The one thing I don't like to do when we do viewer game analysis is actually analyze the games. That's the last thing I want to do. Okay, Sit Bear writes, I thought I had his knight trapped, but turns out he could exchange minor pieces instead. How was I supposed to know that line was winning anyway? And I think Sit Bear's white, because he put black was NN, but he put his actual name as white instead of Sit Bear, which he does on accident like every 6 months. I guess he copies and pastes the PGN and forgets to take out his name and put Sit Bear. Anyway, game was played September 24, game 45 with a 5-second increment. And both players are high 1500s. I think Sit Bear's white because he plays the Sit Bear opening, the collie. Although both sides sort of played the collie, so I don't know. All right, nobody's blundered yet, so that's weird. Must be using engines. Now white makes a nonsensical move, proving they're not using engines. Plays c3. I mean, either you play c3 or you play b3, bishop b2. But c3 blocks the bishop on b2. So that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it was a mistake in his scorekeeping. Okay, c5. h6 doesn't make any sense. a4 doesn't make any sense. a5 is terrible. Rook fc1 is the wrong rook. But the engine says it's equal. Nobody's doing anything. Also the wrong rook. Not sure why you want your rook on a8. This game looks like it was played between two 1,500 players. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, the next time I wouldn't put my real name. I would put Sitbear. Ugh. Bishop takes g3. Ugh. Giving up his dark square bishop for no reason. Terrible. Finally, white played c4. That's the first good move of the game. Amazing. Knight d6 is also good. Bishop takes d7 is playable. That's the wrong capture. White should take on c5 to open up his bishop. Now the engine says it's equal. Queen a7 is okay, but even more equal is queen b7 with the idea of queen takes b3. But queen a7 is okay. Okay, black played knight b7. What black needs to do is play knight e4, defending the pawn that way. Because then if white plays f3, the g3 pawn isn't defended. So white wouldn't win a pawn. Another way to play is queen b7, counterattacking b3. That's also equal. Knight b7 loses. White played knight d3. What white needs to do is play e4 because the bishop is trapped. And then black has two moves that I see. The engine doesn't give those moves, but I don't see any other moves. The engine just gives the bishop away. Ridiculous. Queen b8 and f6. So queen b8. Now we defend our knight, bishop b2, because the bishop's trapped. Then, again, the engine just says give the bishop away. So let's play f6. Then, this is actually quite funny. Knight g6 prevents bishop c6 because of knight e7 check. And if you attack my knight with the king or with the queen, then when I take your bishop, I'm defending my knight. And the other way for black to play is f6 right away. And then the engine says that knight g6 wins, but this wins more. And it says white is +5. God damn. Now, I'm not sure why Sid Bear didn't play e4. E4 doesn't necessarily win because black has counterattacks against the knight. It just turns out when the engine analyzes those lines, white is winning. But yeah, I mean, e4 attacks a bishop that has no escape square, so it seems like the kind of move you would play. Knight d3 also looks like it gives white an advantage because this pawn is weak. Queen b6 is the correct move. Yeah, now the position is just completely equal. And the players agreed to a draw because black would have captured and probably nobody would win this position. So this game was about equal for most of the game. And then in this position, black played knight b7 losing, and white didn't play e4 winning, and then it was equal again. So black blundered, white didn't punish the blunder, then the game ended in an equitable draw. Players' ratings were very similar, so it's not unexpected. But yeah, I'm not terribly impressed with white's boring play in the opening. But as Sitbear has said many times, he plays boring, waits for his opponent to blunder, then punishes his opponent. And all of that happened. Sitbear played boring, his opponent blundered, and then Sitbear forgot to punish him. He forgot the most important part. Okay, now we'll take a 20-minute break while you guys donate subs. And I'll read YouTube chat. Let's see, frying chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken. As a vegan, I don't like the YouTube chat. Is it true a grandmaster's heart is in his chest with 2 S's? The police pulls the knight over and asks him to walk a straight line. Nice, you're live like. This is why I don't read the chats. I'll never get that 30 seconds of my life back. The real Greco confusing what day it is. Today's Sunday. That the Exclam challenge is for Saturday. On Sunday, there's nothing for anybody to do. People have already submitted games on Discord, and we're going to analyze those games. If you can call it analyzing. C. Wage donated 10 subs. He has the 420 spirit. He donates them if he got them. Now, since we're on Chess TV and there's a lot of people watching, I want to let everybody know, which I do every stream, but still people don't, some people aren't here. So I'm not streaming Thursday through Sunday this coming week because I'll be in Charlotte teaching a chess camp and playing in a chess tournament. So if you submit a game for Sub Sunday next week, it will be ignored because there is no Sub Sunday. I'm not going to go back a week and check, for games. Terrible. I will have 5 draws. This game is about donating 10 subs, which you figured out. You're the only one who figured it out. Yeah, you're really good at it. I agree. Yeah. Okay, next game. Uh looks like black is our hero. It's a 10-minute game. Or wait, what's 180? That's 30-minute? 180's 30-minute? I'm an old man, I can't count. I guess 180 is 30 minutes. Unless it's 180 seconds. Wait, 180? Or is that 3 minutes? That's a 3-minute game. Yeah, it's 3 minutes. Okay, sorry, I got confused because I'm old. Okay, now this guy wrote a very long sentence paragraph before the game, so that's going to take up most of the rest of the time of the stream because it's really long. He writes, I wanted to submit a boring game in which I squeeze my opponent in Ruy Lopez and he can't move. But I decided to submit crazy nonsense instead. And every move made is terrible because it fits the thematic of the stream better. Rufus against Doofus, a mortal game that is inspired by playing you and getting crushed. I had read Cry Like a Grandmaster, then I cried like Life Master, and as a side effect, I made my opponent cry by pure accident. I thought the opponent cannot physically mate me, but ironically, on move 16, I have calculated all of his checks except for the queen sack, which provides him with mate in 8, and he did not play it. Also, sacking my queen on move 15 for his bishop also wins, and I would end up being up 2 rooks in that case. But leaving my queen hanging for the rest of the game is a much better flex. Okay, that's paragraph 1. This is 7 paragraphs. Oh, no, wait, that was all that he wrote. Okay, both players are 1,700 plus sacks. And it's a 3-minute game, so don't expect too many good moves, especially after that intro. And our hero is black. C3, now I'm PO'd. E6, now I'm more PO'd. What's worse, C3 or E6? I guess E6 is worse. Bishop D3, even worse. Knight F6. All of these moves are mistakes. Both players overlook that black can take the pawn on C3. And white also overlooked he can take the pawn on D4. G6 is terrible. Now, if you told me this was a lead chess game and these were the lead chess ratings, I would believe you. But it says it's chess.com. Maybe it is lead chess. Maybe I'm wrong after all. Chess.com. Wow. Your ratings are both over 1,700? You both play like you're 1,000. Damn. Okay, well, knight g5 is ridiculous. Every move is a terrible move. Every move, white should take this, and black should take this. Every move they don't is just a blunder. H4 is very egregious. White's just down a pawn, has no development on the queen side, made a lot of weaknesses in front of his king, and is just a terrible person in general. The engine says black is completely winning. Plus 3.4. Knight h5 is actually a good move. That's weird. Dina Belenkaya's rating with a party of 495. I hope you had a good stream. Dina, how did you do in your last round? I saw some of it and then I missed it. Also, why was Dina black every game? Every game I looked at, Dina played, she had black. Does anybody from Dina's stream, oh, she won her last game? Good. Yeah, 5 points is a lot of points. Make sure you go to Dina's camp. I'll be teaching there and lots of GMs. Somebody type !camp. Do as I say. Thank you, Tensor. The camp's starting in a few days. You're coming to the camp? Good, good. Now remember, if you're here from Dina's stream or you're not, you're required to sub. All right, in this position, black played f takes g6, overlooking queen takes rook mate, and white played queen e2, allowing knight g3 check. That didn't happen, but that's what I would expect to happen. In this position, hg is the correct move. Black played knight g3 check, which funnily enough is a mistake. D takes c3 check. And bishop e3 is a mistake. White should play rook f2 because white's rook is hanging. And that's correct. In this position, black should sacrifice his queen by taking the rook, because after bishop takes queen, black has c takes b2 and b takes a1 and etc. So knight takes f1 is winning. C takes b2 is losing. Also winning is queen takes e3 check, followed by takes on b2 and takes on. Now, in this position, in the preamble to the game, black explained that white missed this checkmate. Obviously, you have to take. And then you can't allow pawn here equals queen, but you can't stop it, because if you play king here, there's knight h7 check. So that was all force. White could have won the game by sacking his queen and then promoting to a queen. And black could have won the game by sacking his queen and promoting to a queen. I must admit, in all my years of chess, I've never seen a position where one side can sack their queen and then promote to a queen, and then the other side can sack their queen and promote to a queen, and they both win. And of course, since this is Sub Sunday, both players missed those opportunities. Although, I don't blame the players much, because it's a 3-minute game. If it was a slow game, then I would blame the players much. Okay, instead, black took on b2. Now, if white doesn't give checkmate, white's losing. And white didn't give checkmate, so white lost relatively quickly. He played gh7. Both king moves win. King takes h7 does not win. Rook takes knight wins. Thanks, NRU, for $4.99. Thanks for your kudos. Rook takes knight wins for black. King takes does not win. And now bishop takes queen is all zeros. I don't know why it's all zeros. It just is. Knight g5 check loses to king g6, exclam. Now, the arbiter stopped the game because it was too exciting. But the engine says black is +6 because all of white's pieces are hanging. Wow, the best move is king takes g5, and black played king takes g5. That was the best move. It's hard for white to give mate when white only has a queen. Everything else is pinned or on the back rank or hanging. And white resigned. That was definitely the most interesting game of the day. As Mark pointed out, it wasn't played with razor-like tactical precision, but it was still pretty interesting. BB Timeless subscribed. Yay, thank you. Yeah, so white had forced mate by sacking his queen, and then white was losing. Then white was drawing for one move. Then white was losing again. What's funny is the drawing move was bishop takes queen. Usually that's a move people play, bishop takes queen. What's funny about that is black should have sacrificed his queen. White should have sacrificed his queen, and when the game ended, both sides still have their queen left. Those queens were hanging and nobody ever took them. John Naradandri, I remember that name. He was a pretty good player. Yeah. Farty Party, I haven't seen you in years. 927 subscribed. Go Farty Party. I just thought your chat was a joke, Lewis X. Louis the X. Okay, we're still looking for 27 subs to get to 500. Go stream Elements. You tell them. Okay, unfortunately, it's time for another game. Oh, this game doesn't have any moves. Ugh. Back to the drawing board. That means the copy and paste didn't work. Ah, it still doesn't like the PGN. Darn. I don't know why. (41) is an incomplete move. Rook takes B1, E3. What? $10 from Farty Party. Yay, monetary sacrifice. Thank you. Thanks, Farty Party. Yeah, I have rook takes B1, rook takes B1. It says that. I see rook takes B1. Okay, I copied Bonarici's stuff and it worked. Okay, so Vartanang didn't write anything. For game one. For game two, he wrote stuff, but I'm not looking at game two. Vartanang is 1621, and White is 1871. His name is Runner Eilifson. And this was in round one of Reykjavik. Or it doesn't say what round it was. It says game 1 of Reykjavik Open, so it might have been round 1. I don't know. And Vartanank is black. And it's a slow game. Okay, no blunders so far. Okay, it's about equal. Nobody's done anything stupid yet. Still about equal. Queen e8's a good move. Engine doesn't like bishop takes c5 very much, but that's not that bad. Doesn't like rook takes. It wants white to play pawn takes. Still equal. It says that move is terrible. Now white's much worse. It hates the move b5. Doesn't like f6. Now it says white's better. It says black should play rook a8, attacking the weak a pawn. Then the other rook can come over later and defend. f6 looks okay. Still equal. Black tripled up on the bubble up. Rook c1 is correct. Queen g6 is correct. So far, pretty good game. Knight takes d4 is a blunder that just loses a piece. In this position, queen e4 maintains the balance. But yeah, it sacrifices this knight, but we have queen takes e3 check. Also okay is rook f2. So after queen e4, black's threatening rook f2, and queen takes e3 check. So rook f2 is also okay. This just loses a piece. Now white's winning. White lost this in 10 moves. White's up a piece for a pawn. How did white lose this in 10 moves? Man, now white's barely winning. 1.5. And rook d1 is a blunder. Now it's a draw. Rook f4 is a blunder. Black should play rook d2 and it's equal. This reminds me of my game with Dean Ippolito, where I sacrificed a rook and I had passed pawns on e3 and d3. And it should have been a draw, but he blundered in time trouble and I won. Knight e6 is a mistake. Knight d3 should win. Now it should be a draw. Rook takes e2 is the most ridiculous move I've ever seen in my life, and that I ever will see. Rook takes e2? That's crazy talk. So this position's a draw, but white has to play very craftily to draw. White has to take Then white has to play king f2. And then in this position, knight takes e2 should draw, but knight h5 is better. And the engine says black has no advantage. I mean, I assume black still would have won. Rook takes e2. What? What was he thinking? It's the same position, except he doesn't have a rook. What? And then he resigned. Man, I got to go play in the Iceland Open. Or the Reykjavik Open. Anyway, let's look at my game with Dean Ippolito. Let's see. Chess base. Okay, this is my game with Dean Ippolito from 15 years ago in Lubbock, Texas. Rook takes, check, takes. King, I was in check. Then I sacrificed all my pieces to get these pawns in the center. And in this position, the best move for white, that would take me a long time to explain to you guys, is rook a1. Rook a1 is probably winning. That's the only move that wins. This is the only mistake he made to go from a win to a draw. But okay, nobody's playing rook a1. And then this is a draw. And rook f1 loses. The game should end rook d1, rook e2, and then repeat. That's how the game should end. Okay, but he played rook f1, which loses. And he saw rook check, rook b8, rook b1, and thought he was winning. Although the engine says rook e2 is a draw. So even though he missed my next move, which wins for black, rook e2 still draws, which is weird because I can't do anything. I guess he can't either. Anyway, rook takes b1 just wins. Or then e2. He didn't see rook takes b1 because he was in time trouble. Anyway, that game reminded me of this game, which black also won. So in practice, when you have connected passed pawns on the 6th rank, and the engine says white is better or equal, white loses anyway, because people can't play white. But was it worth it being in Lubbock, Texas? Now you're talking, says the man from Alabama, trying to make fun of another state. God damn. When I was in Lubbock, Texas, it was a dry county, which is funny because that's where Texas Tech is. If you wanted to buy alcohol, that you had to drive to another county. Then they changed that, like when Susan Polgar left Lubbock. Now it's not a dry county, but it was for years. When I was in Lubbock, Texas, I was a vegetarian, not a vegan, which is lucky. Okay, we need 27 subs. We'll look at the next game after we get 27 subs. Man, these games that are 60, 70, 80 moves, oh, it's like death. Yabba dabba doo, telling a joke that's 100 years old on the internet speeds up the process and makes these jokes 800 years old. What does that say? Talk to the audience. This is always death. All right, let's see what happens in the basketball game that I don't care about, which is all of them. Cavaliers Heat. Cavaliers up by 6 at the end of the third quarter. What is your take on Snitkergate? What's Snitkergate? I don't even know what it is. I've heard of Snitker. Isn't he the coach? Why? What did he do? Probably too long to type, but you'll do it anyway. Even though you're playing 6 hands of poker simultaneously. Where's my 27 subs? Also, where's my tab? I pushed tab on the computer for a long time. There's no tab. Also, where's the tab button? He didn't get onto Kelnick for lazy base running. I didn't hear about this. Yeah, well, Snitker's old. Give him a break. Give us old men a break. We can't remember what we did years ago. Yeah, I saw that, Mark. That was funny. Thanks, Mountain Dude, for 2 subs. You're even better than Mountain Dew. Much better. Because I hate Mountain Dew, so. Makes it easy to be better than that. 25 subs, that's all we need. Then I can ask for 100 subs. And then 1,000. And then 1,400. And then we're all set. That's right. Oh my God. Give me the crab juice. Okay, the next game, Black is our hero. Somebody submitted a game? Ugh. They're banned. Thought I did pretty well to keep my opponent's pawns under control. But in the end, I was too slow. Black is your hero. This was played on chess.com. It says time control 600. What's that, 10 minutes? Yeah, that's 10 minutes. And both players are about 2,100. It's the Schliemann. Schliemann's good. I faced the Schliemann on stream about a week ago. I played D3, the recommended move. Queen H5 check question mark, losing. Losing on the spot. And the queen on D4 protects the rook, which white noticed. Giving up the rook? Wow. Black's up a lot of material. Damn. Queen E5 is the best move. King D7 is the second best move. Let me close chess base. That's where I got my Ippolito game from. Yeah, he played Queen E5. That's the best move. Somehow Black didn't win this game. Black's up a rook and a piece. I would resign if I was white. Even if it said never resign. Not sure why Black didn't play Queen takes F5, but all right, doesn't matter. This is just Black up a rook and a piece, so not sure how Black didn't win. Although Black claimed he was proud he stopped the pawns. So I don't know. The engine says Black is +9. Black's play isn't very good. Black's still winning because Black's up so much material. I don't understand that move. Why did White play E7? This is funny. The best move is Bishop D6 check. Because if you take the rook, rook H8 is mate. That doesn't matter. How did Black not win? Ugh. Obviously, you take these pawns. Why you're a rook up? Okay, but this is also a rook up. King E6? What about rook E1? What? All right, still winning. It doesn't matter. I'm confused. Black didn't win this game? How did Black not win this game? Black's rated 2100. It says King B3, and then it says half-half. So I'm guessing Black's time ran out, and it's a draw because White has only a king. Yeah, that's what it says. So that game was white giving all of his pieces away, black having bad technique. But bad technique was good enough because black was up a rook and a piece. But then black's time ran out. That game had everything. Intrigue, mystery, romance. Yeah, C.L. Smith is right. This friend of mine, who C.L. Smith knows who he is, Bob Schiaffoni, passed away a few years ago. He's a famous poker player. He thought in kids' tournaments, when the kids are really bad, these games need to be adjudicated. We can't let the kids finish their games. He was big for adjudicating kids' games. I mean, these are kids that are like under 500 strength. He said, these games go on too long. We have to adjudicate them. I mean, in rated tournaments, he wanted to adjudicate those games. The kid with best accuracy wins the game. I've seen kids' games go on and on and on and on, and it's never going to end. Like one of the kids got Social Security before the game ended, and then Trump took it away. There was an Easter egg hunt at the White House today, and Trump found all the eggs, and all the little kids got no eggs. And Trump said, these stupid kids, I always beat them. That's 5 years in a row. Man, harsh. Getting game review is complicated. I have to do copy and paste and leave. Stupid kids never stood a chance. Then he deported the kids. That's right. Eggs too expensive. White House event canceled. Also funny. Go Dina stream. Dina rated us about 20 minutes ago after she won her game. I'll be in Charlotte in a few days teaching at Dina's camp. And then I'm playing in the alto tournament. Even though I'm a soprano. I don't know how they let me in. Bonarici says you can sub on Prime on mobile. I've done it. Go Bonarici. They probably took it away after you did it. So you tell people they can do it and they can't. Oh, snap. I've subbed on mobile, but not with Prime. But I have subbed. So I know it's possible to sub. With Prime, I don't know. We still need 25 subs to get to 500. Somebody's complaining about the Orioles on my stream? Man, that came out of left field. Ba-dum-bum. Blue Sky Traveler subscribed. I was just listening to the ELO song today, Mr. Blue Sky. I root for the Braves and the Tigers, but I get to watch the Braves games here. The Braves won today 6-2. I saw like the last 5 innings. It's Rurf May. But the Cubs were pretty good this year. Okay, next game, yours. So next. Our hero is black. See, the reason the hero is always the person who submitted the game is the person is a sub, so therefore they're a hero. Okay, so Felix Frias wrote something in Spanish. So I think he wrote, I'm the greatest player who ever lived. I played great and I won. But I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what it says. Anyway, Felix was black. He's 1366. His opponent's 1309. And it doesn't say what the time control was. It's played on chess.com iPhone. It says, look at my game. A3, what is this guy, 1300? G6. E5 is actually the engine move. The engine actually takes on C3 too. M plays Queen F6. God damn, this game's good. The engine castle's queenside here. But C6 has to be okay. Wow, G5 is the best move. That actually makes sense. I like G5. He played G5. This game is pretty good. He put it in H. Man, F6 was the best move. I've never said that before. So this is about equal. Both sides have terrible pawns. Notice how Felix Frias castled illegally. But chess.com has a bug, so it lets him do it. This game's too exciting. It says all zeros. It always says all zeros. Every move they play is fine. Okay, that move is terrible because white can play bishop g7 now. So that's the first mistake of the game. Pretty good game. But after bishop here, then black is in a little trouble. Now black is okay. It's still equal. That's a blunder. White should take and then play rook e5, threatening this and this and this. then it says it's equal. After rook here, now black's winning. These moves are all good. Now black is completely winning. Instead of knight e7, which is fine, black could play h3 because the h pawn's too fast. But knight e7's fine. Yeah, this is winning for black. Black's barely winning, but black is +7. Good technique from black. And then the game was a draw because black time ran out. No, I'm kidding. That was the last game. Bravo. That was a very good game, Felix Frias. You made one really bad move, rook f8, allowing bishop g7. Your opponent made like 2 or 3 really bad moves. Then you won. And the game was 66 moves long. So I don't know what the time control was or if it was a daily game. Felix, was that a daily game where you get like 3 days a move or a day a move? Because for a blitz game, that was too good. It was daily? Yeah. I don't have the accuracy numbers, but I'm sure Bonarici can figure it out. I don't know how Bonarici figures it out. Maybe every time Bonarici says that, he's just making it up. And he's making up what it says about it. That would be awesome. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And he's been tricking us for years. No, black played very well that game. That was a very creative game in the opening. Very suspicious. I liked it. 87.6 for black. Pretty good for 1300. What we have to have Kramnik start the procedure. Well, Magnus is playing a game that's not chess. He's playing 960, so I don't know. Top players all quit chess. They play 960 now. Doesn't affect their FIDE rating. What are the chances you beat me in 3-2? 0. I don't play 3-2. But if you want to lose to me in 3 minutes, you can play me on Saturdays if you're a sub. Okay, now we have a game from the North Dakota State Championship. Solid. From George Pass Chess. Hi, Ben. It's George. I placed second at the North Dakota Championship this past weekend. We both got 4.5 out of 5. I drew him with black in the final round, but lost on tiebreaks. This was my best game from the tournament. As white, I beat a 1700 convincingly. The game is 75 minutes with a 30-second delay. Do your stuff. Okay, you guys heard the man. It's a King's Indian. Engine says white's slightly better. Doesn't like e5. Now it says white's clearly better. Knight takes e4, loses a piece. Why do you do that? It says knight h5 is the best move. God damn. I guess white's threatening queen c1 and you can't save your knight. White's just a piece up. Black sacked a piece for nothing. Rook f4? Black didn't want to stop queen takes h7 check? What? Rook f4. Always sack the exchange. Boy, black wasn't kidding. Rook f4. What a move. It goes from white being up +3 to +8. And the engine doesn't like that move. It just wants to take on h7 and g6. But it still says +6. And black resigned. Man, black got crushed this game. Now, in the opening, knight c6 is very unusual. Then, in this position, black has to worry about his knight. Black actually should play knight h6 now and try to get his knight out of there. Instead of here, which opens up this diagonal to his knight. So he was probably worried about queen c1 and his knight's trapped. So he played crazy move. But yeah, not stopping queen h7 check, I've never heard anything like it. Queen h2 telegraphs queen h7 check. So I don't understand why he didn't play h6. It doesn't matter, he's a piece down, he's losing, but different kinds of losing. This is losing. And then he resigned because he's down a rook. A crushing victory. The best Dakota is L-fanning. I like the video that Peter made about North Dakota. One of the top 2 Dakotas. It's moves. I recommend e5. You live in East Dakota? Yeah, white played pretty well. Black needs a refresher. Black didn't play the opening or middle game right. Then black just started giving all his pieces away. Rook f4? What kind of move is that? Guy threatens queen h7 check and you ignore it? God damn. Okay, now it's time for the Pat part of the tour. It's Pat. Pat submitted 2 games because he said he hasn't submitted games in weeks. And he texted me and I said it was okay. He didn't write much. He just wrote that his second game was nowhere near his best. For the first game, he wrote nothing. It looks like Patrick's playing people instead of computers. So maybe it's at a coffee shop or something. It's Pat. It's the Stonewall Dutch. The only Stonewall better is Bishop b4 is Stonewall Jackson. Queen d8? Very suspicious play by black. Bad enough to play the Dutch. Then you have to lose tempi playing it. With his bishop twice, his queen twice. Knight takes d5. God damn. And gold coins were thrown about. Yeah, black's position's pretty bad. Terrible bishop. And you will know my name is the Lord. Bam! I didn't even know if you played it, but I saw that it was winning. Two nice tactics in the same game. Always play bishop f1, even when the engine says bishop f3 is better. Boy, the engine says white's +3. It's hard to believe white's winning so much. It's like white's barely winning. Oh, snap. Whoops, sorry, I messed up. So black played g6. Now queen c5 threatens the queen, and queen f8 mate. Queen f8 wasn't mate until black played g6. So queen c5 is double exclam. Queen b4 is triple exclam, except queen takes queen wins. And a3 wins too. And black resigned. Man, black wasn't such a bad player. He found some good defensive moves. Yeah, queen c5 is the move of the game. Was that with no clock, Pat, or was that with a clock? The engine doesn't even like a3 because black can play queen b8. And white's winning, but white's more winning if he takes the queen on b4, it says. No clock. Yeah, the thing is, you and your opponent have the same name, except you have a Pat in front of it. So you're just like an extra Pat. So you won easily. Another suspicious game. Okay, here's another Pat game. Also at no clock, I assume. Pat plays his usual e4 this game. This guy's probably not as good as the last guy. Playing queen e6. The engine says knight b5 wins. Knight b5 winning, and the best move is king d8. God damn. This is also winning for white. Ooh, f5. Yeah, this guy's not as good as the other guy. a4? I would take on c7. I had a game once in the Netherlands in a weekend tournament, 10-minute, where I played knight c7, knight a8, knight b6 mate. The guy resigned after knight a8 because he couldn't stop knight b6 because his queen was on d7. So even if he moved his rook out of the way, knight b6 won his queen. But a4 is also good. The engine doesn't like him taking your knight. It says your attack's too strong. Knight c6? Wow. Threatening mate. Never play f3. Rook a1, that's like the last guy when he played queen a5, then he played queen d8. Obviously, you were worried about knight c6. But rook a1 is not good. Now it says it's equal after knight takes d4. Now you have to win the game again. c5 is the best move. Bishop takes a6 is the only move. e5 is losing immediately. Bishop takes a6, queen takes, king d7 is playable, it says. Now it says you win. Wow, queen a6 check isn't as good as queen b5. Because queen b5, if he plays queen c6, you have rook a7 check. Yeah, queen a6 is irresistible. But queen b5 is plus 4.5, because after queen b5, you're threatening c6 check. And then if he plays king b8, rook a8 check, queen a6 check, queen b7 mate. King d5, god damn. It says king d7 is slightly better for white. Now it says white's winning. The best move proves that your opponent's cheating if he plays it. h4. Who's playing h4? Nobody, that's who. The queen b5 check, forcing your opponent's king to safety. Terrible. e4 double question mark. Queen e8 equal. Bam. Patrick's always playing the brilliant tactics. Nice finish. That game wasn't as well played, but this game was fun to watch. Had a lot of open king. I like that your opponent played king d5. That's funny. This guy didn't seem as good as the first guy. Remember, anybody can look like a genius if you find the right opponent. Hey, Mickey or Mikey B. I didn't know if it was Mickey or Mikey. I just knew you were Dutch. Yeah, I lived in Belgium for 4 years before you were born. In the next game, our submitter's opponent is an IM. God damn. Hi, Ben. This is the first game of a new weekly league tournament. Classical game 90 plus 30. I played the Czech Benoni. I traded dark squared bishops, got the f5 break in, but somehow that did not automatically award me a win against my opponent rated 550 points higher than me. Yeah, but I'm looking at the two ratings. Oh yeah, that's right, 550. Never mind. I'm particularly interested in commentary on whether allowing knight e6 was lethal. If not, how to stop it. Yeah, knight e6 is a good move for white in the check Benoni. Yeah, but Bonarici's kidding. The only cheating talk is coming from Kramnik. Nobody else has cheating talk. And he's certifiable, so. Okay, next game. Our hero's black. White is an I am Elliot Winslow. He's older than me. I've known Elliot Winslow for 50 years, and I'm 55. God damn. True story. So far, every move perfect. These moves are all good. The engine doesn't like a6. It wants you to develop a piece. Yeah, this makes knight e6 even stronger because there's no reason to let him play knight e6. If he's going to play knight e6 and you take it and he takes back, you don't want your knight to be attacked on d7. So you don't want to play knight d7 here. Wanted to play it last move when his knight wasn't on g5. Well, now knight e6 just wins material. Yeah, here you have to play h6. But yeah, knight d7 isn't good. Bishop g6 isn't good. He didn't want to take your rook because he liked his knight so much. His play hasn't been good since he played knight e6, so you're okay here. Yeah, there's no reason to give up your rook. Just like, move your rook. Your rook's attacked. Move it. What are you, always sacking the exchange? Probably don't want to take en passant. You want to keep the position blocked up. Well, the engine says taking en passant is best. So what do I know? Yeah, that's not good. Okay, you want to play knight d7 here so that if he takes, you can take with the knight. Now he has a passed d pawn. Oh, you checked and took with the knight. Never mind. And king e2 is a blunder. And king d2 was a mistake also. He should play king c4, and after you take, then play rook f2 check. This position says you're not lost anymore. Yeah, this says you're okay. Well, you lost in 11 moves, but the engine says this is a draw. Yeah, I didn't see knight a4 check. That was a good find. Yeah, it wants you to play king h4 here. Says it's a draw. Now it says this is a draw. Ooh, wrong way with your knight. You want to play knight b3 because then you're threatening knight d2 check winning the e-pawn, and you're threatening knight d4 check winning the exchange. After knight b3, you should be able to draw the position. Knight d7 is the wrong way. And then this is a blunder. Now it's a draw again. Knight takes e4 draws. because if he takes it, you play rook b3 check. Boy, Elliot really went downhill, but he's older than me. He's probably 70 or so. Yeah, knight takes e4. If rook takes, rook b3 check. Then if king here, h5 mate. I have to show that because it's funny. Then you win. Yeah, knight takes e4 is a draw. g5 was a blunder. Now it says you're still close to drawing if you play rook b1. Yeah, rook b6 is a blunder because he plays rook c6. Yeah, you have to play knight f6 here and king h5 and try to get counterplay against his h-pawn. That's too bad. You were drawing or equal for a lot of that game. And you gave the exchange away without any reason. But in the end, his technique wasn't good enough. Then in the very end, his technique was good enough. That was a very poor game from Elliot. But yeah, Elliot's 200 points lower rated than he used to be. Anybody who says toilet in the channel is banned. No, against somebody 600 points higher than you, you fought really well and you were drawing at several points. Even near the very end of the game, if you had played knight takes e4, the engine says it's all zeros. White doesn't have any advantage. That's a funny tactic, but you have to see h5 mate. If you can't play h5, you're just down a rook, but h5 is mate. Yeah, that was a good game. It was a check Benoni. No wonder it was good. What's wrong with knight takes d5? God damn. Knight takes d5 loses for a very funny reason. Let's see if anybody in the chat can get it. It actually loses for two reasons, but one of them is really winning. Yeah, h5 check. And the king has to leave the rook, then we can take the knight. That's pretty cute. Also winning is rook d3, but that's barely winning. h5 check is really winning. Yeah, he probably saw knight takes d5, h5 check, but didn't see knight takes e4. That's likely. It's getting late in the game, so you're getting tired. Go C.L. Smith. Yeah, actually, C.L. Smith, I went to Lubbock like 3 times. I played in those Spice Cup tournaments a lot. I got my final GM norm in Lubbock with a round to spare. There's video on the internet of me eating cake. Yeah, it's a boring place, but I went to the Buddy Holly Museum, which is also boring. It was fun. Tournaments were good. People there were nice. All right, let's see what people on YouTube are saying. I lose my king every game. Actually, nobody said anything on YouTube for a long time. It's been like 15 minutes. I watched Gotham Chess and lost 50 elo. No. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Donald Trump said in a statement today, the name of the Panama Canal will now be the American Canal, and David Lee Roth will change the name of the song Panama to America. Man, the truth hurts. Sit Bear subscribed. Sit Bear, you doxed yourself in the game you sent. You put your name instead of Sit Bear. I didn't say what it was, but obviously anybody could read it. Yeah, you did that before, but it was a long time ago. According to his medical report. Good one, C.L. Smith. Yeah, you played well, Sit Bear, until you didn't play E4. You patiently waited for your opponent to blunder. They finally did. Yeah, that was the first game we looked at. Pete Hegseth actually said, "Don't blame me, I was drunk." So you can't blame him. Whiskey leaks, that's good. I drank both of my drinks. All right, let's see what happened in the game I was looking at. The Cavaliers won by 21. Man, none of the games are close. After knight takes e4, white has several moves that don't lose. The most obvious is rook f8. The funniest is rook takes e5. But yeah, rook f8 is a draw. But I like rook takes e5 because that's funnier. Okay, next game. It's Bonarici time. From my road to 2085. This was played on chess.com. Both sides are in the 2020s. It's a 3-minute game. And it was played 2 days ago. This is on Bonarici's road to 2085. Go Bonarici. Yeah, knight f6 is a known mistake. Now white's close to winning. Queen b3 is good. Yeah, white's a pawn up. So far, so good. Black has minimal compensation. Knight b6 is not a good move. Not where the knight belongs. c4 is okay. I don't know why it says dubious. c4 is explosive. Well, that move's ridiculous. I mean, white wants to play c5, winning a piece. Black should play c5. Bam! c5, winning a piece. What is this, a 3-minute game? Isn't e4 hanging? Why didn't black take on e4? Why did white play e4? Yeah, white should play queen b1, defending his e4 pawn. a5, terrible. Well, black still didn't take on e4? Man, black's rating is like a Lichess rating. Never play f6. Knight takes e3? I mean, it doesn't matter. He has to play knight e7 or knight g7, but it doesn't matter. Man, which mate in one did you play? Queen g7 or queen h8? Ah, the standard one. Fen Beingold subscribed to tier 3. Fen Beingold gave 500 bits. How do you get a game analyzed? Type !analysis. It's Fen Beingold. Fen Beingold, you weren't here earlier when Farty Party was here. I haven't seen Farty Party in months. He subscribed, he donated. He might still be here, but that was a long time ago, so I figure he's not. Bonarici, you crushed that guy. You should be 2,085 after that game, because you're 60 points better than that guy. I haven't seen Fen Beingold in a while. Go Fen Beingold. Bonarici, what's your peak rating on chess.com? Is it what it is now? Cute Kitty Cat 2 subscribed. Good, good. What? Can Gotham Chess beat Drew to Polgar? You're banned and your children's children. The hype train is incoming. Go hype train. We need somebody to give $1. Who wants to give 100 bits and start the hype train? Fen Beingold, 10,000 bits. God damn. Ooh, the spinning red thing. That's the best thing. Look at that spinning red thing. Oh, it went away. Thanks, Fen Beingold. You've earned a 700K bits badge. God damn. Thanks for the Easter present. Yeah, it's hard to get that spinning red one. Hey, can somebody give 100 bits so that the hype train is like at level 10? Somebody who hasn't donated before. The reason we don't have a hype train is that Fen Beingold keeps donating to the hype train. We need more than one person. So somebody can give a sub or 100 bits or something. We should be a really high level. You don't know how to give bits, you're banned. You're deported. Yay, Felix Friask and Lost in Hollywood donated subs. And Worf May. You give a sub, you give a sub, you give a sub. Worf May gifted a sub to deport Trump. Yay, we're at level 7. It's been a long time since we've been at level 7. $5 from Brian Bynum. What is a hype? What is a train? What is the? Why am I here? To give $5. Best Belgian beer? You know, I'm not really a beer person. I like Stella, but I think like their strawberry beer or something is the best. Raspberry, something. Some kind of beer that's flavored. Stella's your daughter's name? That's not your daughter. That's a glass of beer. You just thought it was your daughter. Cute Kitty Cat 2 gave 10 subs. God damn. You guys are in the Easter spirit today. I don't know what Easter is, but thanks. When they taught us what Easter was in school, I passed right over it. I also don't know what Passover is. I know Easter has a bunny. That's what Donald Trump said. He's the president. And there's something with eggs. I know what 420 is. So I got 1 out of 3. Level 8. It's never happened. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the stream. Yay, 500 bits. Rises from the grave. The Easter Bunny is risen on the 3rd day, I assume. Isn't that when people rise? Period of Time gave 10 subs. You get a sub. You get a sub. You get a sub. Boy, this is my best stream probably in 2025 as far as donations and subs. Hey, could somebody type exclam stats and see if we broke 500? I think we did. $4.99. No. Actually, $4.99 is better. $4.99. Hey, can somebody give like 100 bits? Because we're at 98%. Thanks, Fen Beingold, for gifting the sub. Now we're at level 9 or 10 or something. GP Bear gifted a sub. Yeah, Knight G6 is hard to see, Sit Bear. I agree. Everybody's in the giving mood today. I'll have to find out what Easter is. 100 bits. Thanks for 100 bits. I can't see your name. Slim MG77? Something like that. Level 9 of a hype train. It's never happened. The best thing that happened in chess since Tall Baron. Melbats. Felix Frias gave 5 or 6 bits. Thanks, Felix. Okay, let's look at the last game. From Mountain Dude. A game so explosive, Hegseth shared it over Signal. I've been trying to do the Urasov Gambit, but no one seems to want to threaten my pawn. From there, we stumble into an exciting game with as many blunders as you might expect from Lee Chess 1400s. This is a rapid game, and our hero is white. Slim MG77 gifted a sub to GP Bear. I roast everybody except animals. I draw the line there. But humans. We need Felix Frias to translate. Especially the hey hey part. Fem Beingold gifted a sub to Slim MG77. I gave up on the hype train because I figured level 9 was it. But we're at 56%. So I actually have a chance to get to level 10. I had already given up. That's why I was going to look at the game. I don't like to analyze games during trains because then people stop. Gotta keep the train going. Go Santa. Santos L. Helper. Okay, here's the last game. Our hero has white. He said they're 1400s on Lee Chess. Okay, pretty good game so far. Okay, G4 is good. All right, this game's pretty good. White's slightly better. Queen takes E3. Probably F takes and knight takes are both better. But it probably doesn't matter very much. Engine slightly prefers knight takes. Yeah, this is pretty equal. I mean, if I was white, I'd try to play F4. The engine says F4 is a move. Okay, you changed your mind to play F4, I guess. Yeah, the engine actually likes white here. It doesn't like F6. Surprise, surprise. All right, so white's slightly better. White has the G file. Ooh, and that's a blunder. Now Rook G7 wins. So in this position, Black's already in a little trouble because Black gave up the G file. Black has to play super accurately here to not lose immediately. D5 is the best move, but nobody's finding that. Now Rook G7 just wins immediately. No, 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 you don't take the bishop. No. Also, taking the bishop wins. Yeah, Rook Rook here. The engine plays Rook here. I'm guessing your opponent would have gone here. Then you can take and play Queen A7, threatening Queen B7 mate and Queen A8 mate with advantage. But Bishop takes E6 also wins. No, not Rook G6. Queen A7, Rook G7. No, don't trade rooks. No, now your white's slightly better. King H4 is good. Yeah, in this position, white should have played B3, so black can't infiltrate with the queen and attack all these pawns. Ooh, King C5 is a blunder, it says. Queen B1, threatening all these pawns. That move actually gets checkmated. King D4 gets mated by queen. No! White has mate here. Queen check. There's one legal move. Then there's one legal move. No, white had mate. Also, Queen A7 is mate, because the engine says so. And then Queen A6, threatening Queen D6 and Queen C4. If the queen defends D6. Well, yeah, you can't defend Queen D6. The best move, according to the engine, is Queen B3. Oh, yeah, because white's threatening C3 mate. The only way to stop C3 mate and all these other mates is Queen B3. Exclam. Okay, so King D4 is a blunder. White played King H5. Now white's still winning. Well, now it's just mate. Now it's just Queen takes D6, check, and mate. I assume that white saw that. No, no, no. Queen takes D6. No. It's the worst stream ever. No, Queen takes D6 check. It's as simple as a baby's smile, or as natural. Queen takes D6, mate in 1. Yes. White waited till it was mate, because otherwise black could have gone here. So white did good. Well, that's lead chess 1400 for you. Lots of checkmates missed by both sides. It was a rapid game. I don't know what that means. 15 minute, 20 minute. Doesn't say the time control, just says rapid game. Anyway, as we say in the Netherlands, it's Gotten Totten Tenten 10 o'clock. 10-0, Mountain Dude says. Mountain Dude, you played better than your opponent. Like, you're a better player than your opponent. Even though there were, like, mistakes on both sides, his mistakes were much more egregious. Most of your mistakes were not winning. Most of his mistakes were losing. You didn't make any move and you were losing. He made a lot of moves that made him losing. Somebody told me 500 is the minimum rating on lead chess. They don't go below 500. I don't know if that's true, but somebody on my stream said it. Bonarici getting that zinger in. Well, thanks everybody for subscribing and donating, and Fen Beingold and Cute Kitty Cat and C Wage. You guys are all the best. All right, we have to raid somebody. Can anybody Find me someone to raid. We'll raid everybody's favorite streamer. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for supporting the stream.